I need to quote what somebody said in my proposal. He said, based on simple statistics, a good data analyst, it's very hard to find. It's almost, because you need what? You need three things. You need a good in computer, you need a good in math or statistics, but the third, you need a good in your domain. You know your field. For example, if you can be good in the bond rating or mutual fund, you already easily get $1 million. The hedge fund, we have those kind of projects. You can if you want. Well, it takes time, but it's all possible because the only way you can beat that challenge is the computer itself. Because the computer made all those trouble, right? We cannot take this much data. They produced it. So next, we look about the data input format. The formats. I'm going to talk two types of formats. This is the source data formats. And the next, I want to talk about the processing data formats. So in here, you have the data record in all different types. You have text, you have graphic, you have scientific matrix, you have spatial data like the Google Earth, and you have visual input. Worst of all, you have a video input. I tell you where's mine. Besides medical, image. Identify the moving object, the Army, Air Force, and we really got one from the Air Force with Thomas Young and another professor in Brandon College. Another one is the video, and the next one is the natural language processing. Huge, like the documents, websites, and all those communication. Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, those communications. And a lot of business. Well, now the recorded data means the data in the processing. Doesn't matter what the format you take, like Microsoft Word, Excel, or you use R, you use MATLAB. That pretty much is a table. You call it a matrix. That's what we need. That's how we deal with it in the math, right? So MATLAB is a good name. It's a matrix laboratory. Everything is a matrix. And I would still, because my background, I would call it as a matrix. And remember, in the end, each row is a case, an instance. Each column is an attribute. And the last column is what you want, the conclusion. And that's how they look like. Okay, now we have data matrix. We all know this. This is from physical science. If you're in the material to study for the stress, you build up this data, right? The source of data, of course, it comes from database. That would be very nice. If we say it comes from the database, it means it's structured data. Structured data is always cleaned up with the row and the columns. But when you look about the internet website, that's unstructured data. That's very messy. To natural language processing, the first thing is how do you make those unstructured data into structured data? And of course, then you're going to read through and mark it to pick up the words you're really interested in that count the frequency. And the stupid method win, actually. A lot of model come, thousands of paper, end up the most stupid way it works. That's how the computer just fast, right? Another website, that's the unstructured data. Streamed data, what's wrong with the streaming data? Streaming data means video camera, like this data, and all those things. It's a huge volume, huge. And what you really care is tiny, but the data itself is huge. Give another example I mentioned. In the image processing, try to recognize the dog and the cat. Those first image, you got all those data, training data. It's probably 1 to 4 meg. And you really only need 32 bytes. It's enough to get the final result. What's the 32 bytes? It's just the outline, the outline of this triangular ear of the cat, and then the dog does not have the other shape. So mostly you deal with unstructured data. If you deal with structured data, this is pretty much in your scientific domain. But the unstructured data is in the real now, the social media and the business, financing field, politics take over because there's so much juicy thing there. You know, what is in my dream? I really think if I do stock market, I'm not going to read all those reports. I really need to find what's the politics inside. And usually it's those things make the stock drop like this. You know, naturally you can always stock or outperform than the saving account or mutual fund. But once a while you say if you can identify the catastrophic event, so that those stock before it happen, you definitely can get good profit. That is a sentimental analysis. Look at communication, look at the news, look at all those people, how they deal with it, and look at who is getting out, who is coming in. You know, politicians always speak very good words, but behind those sentiments is the most juicy thing. So you need to have the documented analysis. That's why another way to do this is go to inside trading. Hire somebody to get the connection like this IBM, you know, that actually, you remember that? Get those, of course, that's not the scientific way, sometimes it works. Okay, so we can get the scientific way, just like Homeland Security, how to trace those terrorists in the document analysis. Document data is another big field. Who is the best? Illinois Champaign-Urbana. So what you get is the frequency of some words. Of course, what words? You're not going to use those common words like yeah, I, am, have. You pick those particular words associated with a particular field. Like in financing, you look about investment, the capital, and the loss, profit. In the sports, you look at the words about the heat, the home heat, the win, and the game, and those things. You know, again, even not the right word. You know, those things. It really depends. So in your domain, people have the expert to pick up the right words, and then they're pretty much very accurate to know what kind of article is that, who is involved, and what's the interesting part, and then summarize it. Give a little paper to tell you what's happening. Yes?
So are you suggesting we screen scrape the newspaper, NLP it, and try to predict stock?
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. That's a huge research direction. I think Eric in the AE department, you know, he's doing those kind of job. Eric what's his name? He retired. Hill, Eric Hill.
Yeah.
Eric Hill. He had a company. He retired. He's a professor. Very early days, he do neural network. Yeah. Is he with you?
I know, but I did neural networks with him,
Oh.
Dr. Hill,
I
with
see.
amazing accuracy for predicting when things would break, putting up acoustic emission analysis to hear when a fiberglass pressure vessel would break. It can hear all those high-pitched cracking of the fiberglass container. It can predict within 5% when the thing would break. Versus traditional methods where they would test it at 50% and see if it broke and say, oh, okay, it's good.
I know he started very early days. He's doing the neural network, and later on he did a little bit. Now he's in the financing. He owns a financing company, and he kind of not buy. Put his big nose to the administrator, and then they forced him to retire. Anyway, yeah, I like him. He's okay. Now translation then. If we go to Walmart, we talked about yes. Jackie,
They
you have a
have the
question?
hand raised again. I just.
Oh, they have a question? Yes. Question, please. Turn on your video.
That was from earlier. You never reset that.
It's earlier. Okay, not a problem. That's good. And you know, you're always welcome to talk and raise your hand. And this is the part of. Thank you. Yeah, I need some attention to that side and make sure your question is answered. And sometimes I forget I have a camera and I have all those to show that I'm talking something inside the line. Now we talk about the transaction data. That's the biggest data, like at the ATM machine, like in Walmart, when you slide, this alone make it not this what the treetop. Treetop means 10 to the 21st hour because the ATM machine, Walmart slides, and we got all the record. So how we trace the money laundering and the money transitions in the terrorist group, you through the ATM because those things the bank record, the only things you cannot do by human. How many? You talk about billions transition every day. So there's one simple application is we call the basket. In the basket association, see why people find the beer always associated with the diaper. You just look at the transitions. Somebody buy beer and the diapers more frequently buy beer. Well, I don't know if there's any relationship you can build a mathematical reasoning, but it is the frequency they find. You know, Walmart has a humongous data to tell you, yeah, the frequency tells right. Don't know. Probably if they don't have diapers, too old to hear. Graphic data, social network. That's another research direction. And if you learn the computer science, you know how to do the data structure. You make those like a vector to the vertices and the links, right? And those links, they can let you find the social network. The ironic thing is this world is very flat. They say that on average, 7 links you can connect every 2 people in the world, as long as they have a computer. And the 7 links, because this is just to grow very flat. You just think about everybody like have the social network like around 200 people. You just look at the power of 200, how many times you need it for the whole population, right? So it's not that deep network. If you know how to get the path, you can find the connection. For example, in France, the terrorists did what? Immediately American identified them, where they've been and who they, but unfortunately it's still too late. You cannot catch them. But they have the record. It's no surprise, right? So it means they did a really good job in the global tracing. The very next day they found their record. You know, American traced them. Chemical data for those computational chemistry. The one who use those things to see the reactions and to disseminate those behave. Okay. That's the biggest one. That in itself has multi-billion-dollar research going on. The genetic sequence and the data mining for that. I had a friend in a small university. I met him 4 or 5 years ago, and what he did is those sequence, and he just do mathematical sequence because he cannot get those real first-hand authentic genetic data. He just do mathematical sequence. From the sequence, what you can find, the patterns. This is the DNA. Right. Data conversion. You don't need to write the codes. People know the need because that's a huge market. They have all free codes and the software help you to convert. But you need to know what algorithm take what kind of input because you need to put the things in the right place.